Okay.
Yeah, and I know it's been a long time. It's about 10 o'clock there. It's about 6 a.m. over here. So
Yeah.
better
You
late than
up early.
yeah. Well, yeah, I've been trying to get this. SB has been working trying to help me get this organized. So I had to go to bed early and wake up early just to make sure we can get this done.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, you know, the mistake I did is I let people know that I was going to interview a couple of months ago, and I got inundated with questions, and I said I can't do all that stuff. But one of the things about our show, because I'm in here in the UK, but we've got people from Australia, Japan, Africa who watch.
Mhm.
So we always like to go to the beginning as to where you were born and raised.
Hampton, Virginia.
Okay.
Me and DeVante are both born in Hampton, Virginia. So yeah,
Nice.
a lot of people from North Carolina, but we was raised in North Carolina, but born in.
You see that? Because I actually thought you were from North Carolina, but okay, Virginia. And but when did you move to North Carolina? Were you still kids or when you were teenagers?
We were young. We were kids. We're I want to say about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty early in life.
I think I moved to the States in '92, and one of the things I noticed about North Carolina was that Duke in North Carolina and a lot of basketball. Were you ever influenced by basketball as a kid?
Right. Well, I mean, I love to play basketball, man. So Michael Jordan is a home hero. So yeah, I love basketball, man. I play basketball a lot. So.
Oh,
yeah.
It wasn't anything that you thought you'd do as a career or anything when you were young.
I thought I was gonna be an athlete. That's what I thought I was gonna be in life. I was the first young black quarterback in Pop Warner football in North Carolina, and my parents found out that I joined the team. They made me quit.
What?
So I was heartbroken about that. Yeah.
Oh, how come?
Well, I mean, they we were traveling with my dad, and they want us to pursue music, with gospel music rather than I just want to do other things. My whole family's music oriented, so it's like I wanted to just play sports, and I was infatuated with the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Dorsett, all the running backs back in the day. So I wanted to play football.
Wow.
But my mom wouldn't have me. He said nope.
Oh, so it wasn't about getting hurt. It was more so we want you to sing.
Well, I mean, I think it was a combination of both, and just stay in church and just pursue the whole church thing. But, I had other plans for my life.
Yeah. No, when you talk about music, and I guess that's interesting because, I've interviewed a lot of artists and a lot of them, they learned how to sing in church and they were singing for the fun of it on a Sunday and they didn't think about a career. But you're saying that your parents wanted you to have a career in music from a very early age?
No. I'm saying that my parents, they wanted us to focus on church. It just happened that music was our involvement mostly in the church because, we played for my dad. We played for Jim Baker's daughter, who was Tammy Sue Baker at the time. So they much rather us be around the church and, playing and singing in the church. So, they never envisioned us going to R&B music. That was just, DeVante's thing, and we always loved R&B music. We used to sneak and listen to it, but that wasn't, their dreams for us, So we just kind of path of what they thought we were going to be.
Who were you influenced by musically when you were a kid? Then, when you said you'd listen to R&B, who would you listen to and be inspired by?
We infused R&B with like a lot of everything else. Like we had on R&B, we had Commission, the Winans, Rance Allen. DJ Rogers when he did gospel, who had a little bit of R&B. So then, we went to the Michael Jackson, to the Journey, to the Chicago,
Wow.
The Rock, Prince, and then, the Marvin Gaye, James Brown, and we just kind of infused all that together, So, that was like the birth of Jodeci, really. And people don't really understand, like, our music was heavily influenced by a lot of other genres of music. It wasn't just R&B,
Yeah.
So that's basically where the Jodeci sound came from. We just infused a lot of things that we like and listen to.
But for you personally, because it was interesting the fact that you were into the sports and there was a sense of from the family, let's stay in the music. What were you? I mean, as I said, being the younger brother, what was it that you thought about you wanted to do when you couldn't do the sports?
Well, I mean, I kind of left home. I was like, you know what? I'm done, man. I left home at a young age because I was kind of frustrated because I really wanted to play sports because, I thought that, music was something that came natural to my whole family. And I wanted to do something challenging to me. And I think that being that I wasn't from a sports, talented family. I just wanted to do something that challenged me, you know, because I like physical, and you know, so I wanted to play sports, something that was going to challenge me. Because I feel like, you know, God gave me a gift that was given to me, and I appreciated it. But I want to try something that I want to just do that was not natural to me. And I think sports, and then I was very active. You know, I rode motorcycles at a young age. I rode BMX bike. I mean, I got to everything. So, you know, but music was the thing that panned out the best for me and all of us, you know.
Yeah. Because you said you left home early. Did you go with your brother and say, let's just try and pursue our music, or did you just go your own way and?
Yeah, I mean, I went my own way, like, you know, because when Jodeci first started, I wasn't a part of Jodeci. You know, I wasn't a part of Jodeci. I really got in a group when they left to go on a trip to New York. You know, it was like, man, just come on, you know, just come to New York. I mean, I was around the group and we was together all the time. But I really wasn't, you know, I always wanted to be a solo artist. I wanted to be Bobby Brown. So I said, if I'm gonna do music, you know what I'm saying? So Bobby Brown was everything I wanted to be as an artist. And I used to put on little shows for all my little girlfriends. I put on the derby hat, the hammer pants and the patent leather shoes with the gold toes. And I was Bobby Brown for all my little girlfriends. You know, I had my two little dancers, and I get my little shows. Oh, I get my little shows around Charlotte. But, you know, I was always with DeVante, Casey, and JoJo, you know what I'm saying? But I always felt like I was on my own mission, my own path. And then, you know, when the group came together, we just took that ride in New York, and I was like, you know what? I might as well just be a part of this group, you know? So we worked on songs, everything before I was actually in the group too, but I was just never really like into the group. So that's why you had JoDECI, JoJo, DeVante, KC. So, you know, so that's part of that.
You know, I didn't realize that, but you know what is, and I think that's why, and we'll talk about your singles and your solo career, but I think it makes sense for us on seeing you as a solo artist now, because for those of us who were big fans of Jodeci, you know, we always knew JoJo and Casey being the lead singers, and yourself and DeVante doing the music. But the fact that you did say that you actually were solo, and now we see the evidence of that now. You know, I too, as a kid, you know, Bobby Brown with Heart and Soul, you know, he was
I had my own heart. So yeah. Wow. But you know, but being, you know, once Jodeci was formed, we all committed. I didn't even think about the solo thing. I was like, I'm 200%, 1,000% committed to Jodeci. So everything I did, I didn't even focus on doing nothing solo. I just wanted to just give my all to Jodeci and you know, learn and grow and bring my talents to what I had to Jodeci and infuse what I thought, like as far as our style, our swag and everything. I wanted to bring that to Jodeci. Everything I thought for myself, I just, on top of DeVante's vision, I just wanted to, you know, create everything that I had as an individual to, you know, our style and some of our sound and a lot of our harmonies and everything. I just want to infuse that and give everything to Jodeci. So I didn't even think about the solo thing. I was, you know, committed to Jodeci and everything that we were pursuing at the time, you know.
And I guess in those early days, because we see you now as a producer, you know, doing your own production and singing, and then you said you were doing things solo. What was it how did you learn the production and writing side? Was that stuff that was always within the family, or how did you particularly learn your style of writing and producing?
I mean, I always, like, me and DeVante always wrote songs. Like, we wrote songs as kids. Like, we was right, anything we thought of. Like, we had a song called Just Share. I remember one time my brother had some chicken or something, and I was like, man, just give me something. He wanted to give me his chicken. And I wrote a song called Just Share, and it was like, we were writing stupid songs. You know, one of them was Get a Whooping by Our Parents, and I made a song called 40 Lashes. It was like, we just write silly songs, but actually some of the melodies we actually kept and used as real songs. So it's like, you know, we would write all the time. And, you know, we never thought nothing of it. Like when DeVante wrote Come and Talk to Me, the first time I heard it, I think he was 16 years old. And he played it for me. I was like, you know, and this before he even thought about doing Jodeci. It was like he had wrote the song. And I was like, man, this song should be on the radio. And it was a song he wrote. I mean, he gave it to me in cassette tape. And I kept listening to it. I was like, this is something. And I was like, man, this is something. You know, it was Come and Talk to Me. And it had a girl singing on it. Then he put JoJo on it first. Then it was KC on it. And it just kind of grew into what it is now. But it was just a song he had made. He would write songs like that all the time. And, you know, if he dug back in his catalog of songs, I mean, he could, you know, we could actually make songs forever. But, you know, a lot of those songs ended up on Forever My Lady album. They were just songs that he had just made up on the fly. And, you know, from then on, it was Forever My Lady, then the Diary of the Mad Band, and Showed Out the Part in the Hotel. But a lot of those songs came back from Forever My Lady days that we wrote when we was teenagers.
Wow.
You know, Love You for Life was written the same time Forever My Lady was written, you know? So you know, that's how that went though. And me, as far as I always wrote, you know, but me just being around my brother and just learning and him guiding me on how to do it as far as like my production with it and everything, I just kind of took it more serious as time went on, you know?
Oh, so those early days, and I wonder how it's like having an older brother that's extremely talented like that. Does it mean that does it limit how you brought your stuff? Did you think, no, I can't bring my songs because of that? Or how was it for you?
When we fight so much in the studio. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. We argue so much in the studio, like, get on up. He hated get on up. He's like, he hated it. But I was like, you know, I was like, man, I'm telling you. So we went back and forth, and he'll bring me a song, and what you think about this? And I don't like the drum. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Can you call Justin? Yeah. So you know, he'll bring me a song and be like, well, what do you think about the drums on this? I'm like, I don't like this. And he exactly what I tell him. He'll do the opposite. Just, you know, I mean, that's just how he is. But I have to always credit my brother for telling me this. When we first moved to New York, we moved to the projects in the Bronx, and I will always go play basketball every day, and every single day, every day. And he told me one time, he said, listen, he said, what you need to do is, you ain't getting paid to go out there to that park and play basketball. You better pick up this drum machine and spend as much time on this drum machine and writing these songs and this keyboard as you do on that basketball court, because this is going to keep you paid for the rest of your life. And that's what he told me, that always stood out in my head. And I was like, you're absolutely right. He said, you don't get paid to do that, but this is what you get paid for. Wow. And he told me, I was like, I always remember that he told me that. And I was like, you know what? Just as much time as I spend for things that I don't get paid for, I better spend time for the things that's going to support me for the rest of my life. So
yeah,
that's one good bit of advice he told me.
You know, and I think that's an interesting thing. You know, having a very talented older brother who could look out for you, because as we said, we're going to get to your solo stuff now. And it's funny, a lot of people did like, I actually did like Get On Up because it was different. You know, it had a different type of stuff. So I do remember looking out for some of the things that you were writing and producing, because it had a very different vibe. Was it a hard decision when they said they're going to New York while you were still getting a little exposure back in North Carolina as your own Bobby Brown?
And if the story be told correctly, if you ever do interview Casey and JoJo and my brother DeVante, ask him who's the guy that brought all the girls around. I had all the fans. Like, I was a celebrity in North Carolina. So, like, you know, I said I had my own little fan base. So, you know, we go to New York, I didn't know anybody. I was just right back in the beginning. No female fans, nobody, nothing. I'm in the projects with these 4 and 3 other guys by myself, starting all over. But, you know, it was cool. So it wasn't a hard transition, because I knew, like, in my life, it was something bigger. It was a bigger purpose. And my brother always was a great visionary. So I was like, I'm just going to follow your lead, you know, and let it be what it is. So I felt that, you know, me following him, and like Casey and JoJo, we both followed him because he had a plan laid out. And I thought it was the best option for me at the time.
Yeah. When he did meet Casey, what was your impression of Casey and JoJo when you met them?
It was all bad, man. I've told this story a million times. Now, if you don't know the story, you gotta wait till the movie come out. You gotta wait. You don't know the first initial meeting of Casey and JoJo. It was all bad. But if you don't know it, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. I gotta make.
Okay. I interviewed Tony Terry, and he'd said that when he was he got you guys to help sing on a remix of his song, but he only paid you guys $50 and a Wakiki chicken dinner. Do you remember that?
That must have been Casey and JoJo. I would never do that. Maybe Pop, not Kiki chicken. Nah.
Okay. But you remember singing with Tony Terry on a remix of?
He's a great artist. I mean, I've met him, I think, back in the, I want to say early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah.
I never worked with Tony Terry. Maybe Casey.
Okay, so maybe he got the other guys. When they're recording for My Lady, did you try and get involved with the writing, production, or what was it? What was your thoughts about how much input you could put on the album?
read the credits on the back of My Lady album, it says additional production by Mr. Dalvin. I mean, I did a lot of work on that album, but you know, DeVante is the main producer, so obviously he deserves the lion's share of the credit. But you know, yeah, I mean, I produced on Stay. I did, you know, I programmed the drums on Stay. You and I, you know, I did like a lot of work on My Lady. We all did actually, but you know, I did a production work on that. So
yeah,
you know, but I had to stand out a little more and you know, stand on my own on the next album, and then the very next album, it was just a little more every time.
yeah.
You know, so I think that they trusted me and me to just stand out and not, you know, be overshadowed by DeVante's production. Let me stand on my own and do my own thing. So.
What was it? I mean, you're in the studio now, and I've seen you in the studios. But back in those early days, you're learning the production and drum machine. How was the transition being in a studio with all the sort of mixing keys and understanding how to be a producer within a massive studio?
Well, you know, my dad is a recording artist. He's like, my dad has had like 17 gospel albums, so we were always in the. We were familiar with the studio, you know, already. We spent most of our life, our early childhood, in the studio with my dad. You know, watching him record, watching him how he arranged harmony, stack harmony, and you know, arrange music. So it came kind of natural. We just had to learn our way without him being there. You know, and just finally you know, when Uptown Records put us in the studio, it was like, you know, they just put us in a candy shop and said, okay, here it is, make some magic happen. You know, so and we was in there. We wasn't strangers to the studio. You know, so it came kind of natural. It wasn't like it was totally in the studio, you know.
Okay, because I talk to a lot of artists who sing natural, and then when they get into the studio, they realize, wow, this is not the same. I mean, having to record your voice and constantly playing back, and it's the whole experience is different from just being singing in church.
Right.
You know, so Puffy's credited a lot about the image and style of Jodeci, sort of the let's take them and dress them. But when you guys came from North Carolina, how were you guys dressing back in when you moved before you got to New York?
We were like, I said we had our country swag going on. We had our Southern swag. You know, it was. I try to dress us all like Bobby Brown. We had the pants. I said we all look like Bobby Brown. So you know, we were still a little edgy, but it was country edgy. You know, we wasn't New York edgy. When we got to New York, it's been a couple of years. You know, we started hanging out with. Well, I did personally start hanging out with Puff, and I started picking up a little bit different flavor, and you know, that became like, you know, it kind of just spread throughout the group, and now it just became what our image was. You know, so
yeah,
we took off the feathers and put the boots on. You know. So, you know, it kind of just came natural by us being in New York. So,
did the success take you by surprise of the first album, first single? Was it a surprise for you how successful it was?
I think that anytime you can't really expect what's going to happen, especially if you have a hit record because you never had one. I mean, if you coming from North Carolina like us and we never understood, we just made music because we liked it. We didn't know it was going to just take the world by storm. We just, you know, we created something we like. We didn't try to go out there and say, we want to be a hit group or we're going to do this. We enjoyed making records, and, you know, as we still do. And, you know, just the world just loved what we did. We didn't know what to expect. I don't think we had any expectations. We hoped that people love it. But as far as like the popularity and the things that came along with it, I don't think you can prepare anybody for that, you know? So.
How did you adapt and how did you adjust to that? Because I think that's the thing that is different from everyone. Did it make it different because you're in a group and you had your older brother? But how was it for you when you guys are the biggest thing out there, that you're famous, everyone? So you're talking about back in North Carolina, you had your little thing going on, but now the world is shouting your name and stuff. What was it like for you personally?
I mean, it's like for me, it was just a feeling of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Like I never expect or people to want to, you know, love you and they better love me. To me, I'm still grateful. Whether I have 1 fan or 1 million fans, I'm grateful that people enjoy the work that we put into what we do and still to this day support what we did. I don't think I ever changed. I got a lot wiser as I grew up in the business, you know, a lot of ups and downs as all artists go through. But, you know, as far as me as a person, I stayed the same. And anybody that knows me say the same thing. Like I've never really changed. You know, I've learned a lot and I've experienced a lot, but I don't think I ever changed as a person. As far as like I never let money change me, you know, or get to this place where, you know, expect that I'm better than everybody else because I've had hit records out or whatever. I think I stayed pretty much the same.
How was it for your parents when you guys had the big, you know, #1 record and albums and songs everywhere? How did they adapt to the initial success?
It's still weird to them because my parents have never heard Jodeci. They've heard of songs that we've done, and like my dad have heard "Get On Up" because it was remade by Hezekiah Walker, who's a gospel singer. My dad,
Wow.
they don't listen to Jodeci records. They don't listen to gospel music. But you know, my dad, we talk musically now. Like we talk about records, and he's like, "Oh, don't get too nasty, or don't say this, or blah blah blah." My mom, they've never sit down and just actually listen to a Jodeci record, though. You know.
Yeah. Do you know, if I think about "Forever My Lady," the one of the because when I listened to that, and it is something that when I was in Nigeria, I couldn't really understand the record until I moved to America in
Right.
'92, and I met a lot of guys who, because in Nigeria you didn't have a lot of out of wedlock kids, so people get married, have their kids culturally. So the song didn't really make much sense until I moved to America, and I could see, wow, this guy, they're not married but having a kid, and it was such a poem and a story. When
Right.
when that was recorded, did you realize the impact it was going to have? Did you?
We, to be honest, the first couple of lines of that song, we went back and forth, like, because we're so young. I mean, we're 16 and 17 years old, and we was talking about having
Wow.
babies. It's life, it's reality. And we say, at the end of the day, that's how we wrapped our minds around. This is reality. This is people, 14, 13-year-olds having kids, 16 and having kids. And, so we try to, as a band, we've always tried to speak to every situation, every person, every culture, everything that's going on, so, like we did a whole AIDS campaign, because young people, we did a whole, Jodeci for urban AIDS. We spearheaded the AIDS campaign. So we try to just incorporate a lot of things into what our band is, not just go out there and just talk about just sex and sex and sex. We just talk about a lot of different things, a lot of issues that people can relate to.
Yeah. The somebody asked about the sort of the outfit you wore, the whites and stuff. I mean, who was given the fashion for those videos? You had that early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny story. Well, what happened was Andre Harrell, God bless his soul, he passed away. But at the time, he got tired of the jeans and the hats and he's like, y'all need to put on suits, and y'all will wear suits, because what happened was, Gotta Love, the first single that we did with the whole sweat hoodies and everything on, it didn't hit, it didn't take off. So Andre Harrell said, I told y'all that wasn't gonna work, so y'all gonna listen to me. So the image is now suits and blah blah blah. So they bought us these white suits, and I went in the trailer myself personally, cut them all the shorts. And so that was my idea. I cut them all the shorts, and I said, this is what we're gonna wear. We're gonna still keep it street, but we'll put on the jackets with the shorts and the boots. And we came out, and he was like, but it was too late. I had already cut the pants, so it wasn't nothing they could do. But we had to wear it like that, and it worked. It worked though, it worked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's So did you take more of the control of the sort of the image from Puffy and shape the style of the group? Was that more of what you were doing in those early days?
I think, yeah, pretty much. Puff started doing the bad boy thing, and it we not drifted apart, but he had the whole thing, but he started working on his own thing. So it was kind of left up to me to to try to curate the fashion sense to where we wanted to be. And I just took a lot of my style and just translated over to Jodeci. Then we had Sybil, who was, she worked for us, worked with us a lot. Me and Sybil would go out and, and grab outfits and put our heads together and try to find out, okay, this is, let's do this, let's try this. This works, this don't work. We always want to stay ahead of fashion. We always want to stay ahead of fashion at the R&B genre at that time. We want everything to be music, music forward, everything. So.
When it came to the singing, did you because I know people would always say that Casey's probably, as a lead vocalist in a group, probably one of the best ever, and then with JoJo. But did you want to get more involved with the singing in those on any of the albums?
Absolutely. But you know, like we all sing like a lot of backgrounds and stuff is me and my brother. Like that's why when you hear Jodeci and Casey and JoJo, anything else is totally different.
Yeah.
You know, you got totally different because, you know, we all our voices blend together on Jodeci Harmony, and Casey and JoJo is a totally different thing, which, you know, which I admire their stuff too. But with Jodeci is something totally different.
Yeah.
You know, so adding our flair, all of us adding our voices to make the harmony sound the way it does. So, but as far as the lead singing in Jodeci, you know, everybody had their position to play. Casey was the lead singer, Joe was the lead singer. Me and DeVante was, you know, we handled the backgrounds and we, you know, raised the harmony, sung the harmony with them. So that was just, you know, my position in the group. I didn't say, look, I want to sing lead, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, I'm a part of a team player, so It is what it is. But I always knew once I sing, then it's all me. So
okay. So and you never did you ever think about going solo in the midst of the success of Jodeci, or?
Nah, never. I always knew like this is where I'm at. Let me give everything I got, even for myself, to this group. You know, everybody give all they got. You know, I don't think any of us ever thought about stepping away from Jodeci at the time. We just wanted to make our foundation as strong as we could. Yeah. So, you know, that's the only thing that was on my mind. You know, I was tunnel vision when it came to Jodeci. You know, the solo thing, that was, you know, that was in the back somewhere. But as far as I don't want to lose. I'm getting low battery cells. So
okay, sorry. I interviewed Father MC, and he talked about the you know, having you guys on his Treat Him Like a Lady. I mean, sorry, Treat Him Like They Want to Be. How was it joining Uptown, and you had, you know, because Uptown, when we look back at Black history and music, you know, Uptown has an amazing career because it had Heavy D, it had Guy. You know, I've interviewed both Damien and Timmy Gatlin from Guy. You know, had you know, you came out around the same time with Mary, but you came onto the label. Heavy D and the Boys, Father MC, and Guy were already there. What was your thoughts? Did you think this is too much, or what was your thoughts about?
Oh, our initial when we set up to New York, the whole thing was to go on a label with, you know, because it was Uptown MCA. So MCA had Bobby Brown, New Edition, Bobby Brown. They had Guy, you know, they had Heavy D and the Boys, you know, they had Father MC. They had all the groups that we wanted to be around and, you know, try to get in the same kind of, you know, where they were going. You know, so that was our intent on going there. That's the only label we had in mind was MCA. That's our focus. We was like tunnel vision straight there. And it just worked.
What did you think of Guy? Did you know about Guy back? I mean, what was your thoughts about that?
We listen to Guy all the time. You know, that's why we, you know, our up-tempo is, we try to make him sound like Teddy, you know what I'm saying? Up-tempo, and our up-tempo side of Fat My Lady, we was going through this whole New Jack Swing thing, our version of New Jack Swing, but Teddy, we love Guy. We love Guy, still to this day. I mean, Peace of My Love, you know, Groove Me, Teddy Jam, there was all the songs we played all the time. You know, so they were heavy rotation.
When you did join Uptown, did you get to see, as producers, did you get to see Teddy produce and work?
Never. Oh. My brother did it with Teddy one time in Virginia Beach, but this was after when he had the studios. DeVante went to visit him. I stopped by, and you know, I never got to see him work in the studio. I think he was more, you know, he knew that we were on his heels, and he wanted to hide his secrets.
You know, it's funny enough because when they did a tribute to Andre Harrell, Jamie Foxx, Breon Scott, and Breon and Teddy said when Jodeci came out that he says, "Wow, we had to move on because you did come out, and you know, and maybe jokingly, but it was not because you guys came out with a very different sound that should have changed how New Jack was." Were you guys aware of the impact you had on the whole music scene?
Like I said, I think we had something different. And you know, I think a lot of artists were trying to sound like other artists. We never tried to sound like anybody else. We just wanted to fit, I think, people to be accepted by our peers, which was Teddy and Aaron and, you know, Guy. And I think we just wanted to be accepted, but we always had our own thing. So I think on our up-tempos, we try to say, okay, well, we can make our up-tempo sound a little New Jack Swingy, but big choruses, big harmonies and chord changes, you know, then they didn't get that. They didn't get it. So then, you know, our ballads is what, you know, what kind of took off. But, you know, we always paid homage to Teddy. Teddy's one of the greatest producers, and I would be lying if I said that he didn't influence our up tempos in the way we, you know, looked at up tempos and New Jack Swing, because he was a king of New Jack Swing.
Yeah.
And that was a whole sound right there. And he changed sound to New Jack Swing. When we came, I just changed again.
Yeah.
To, you know.
Yeah. My favorite Jodeci song is "Cry for You." When it was, you know, seeing the video, I don't know if you went to Saudi Arabia. Where I don't know where you guys. Where did you go?
We shot in Death Valley, California.
Okay. It's to this day. I mean, it's you know, a lot of people like "Love You for Life" and "Forever My Lady," but to me, that's "Cry for You," because you know, when you hear men singing, that's sort of "I'm sorry, come back to me" kind of song. It's just so powerful. And I think that's the one thing that I really loved about what you guys did was the ballads and saying, you know, this is our lane. We're going to really dominate this. Wearing leather jackets and stuff in the desert, you know, that's taking it up. Looking back at all your catalogs, what was your favorite or 2-3 favorite Jodeci songs?
Cry for You was one of my favorite. Like I said, that was Freaking You. Come and Talk to Me. List goes on, man. Forever My Lady, of course. But my all-time favorite was Cry for You. And I say my top 3 was Cry for You, Freaking You, and Come and Talk to Me. Probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's such a powerful stuff. Now, you guys, you know, the one thing that we learned about the fact that your dad was always in music and recording and had albums out. How much of the business side of the industry did you know coming in? Because, as I said, you've got your dad's history to know what was going on.
0. Man, if I had to do it all over again, it'd be totally different. And you probably speak to 98% of the artists, they would probably the same. They would tell you the same thing. They knew 0 things about the business. And what artists fail to realize, it is called the music business. To be the business of music, that's what it should be, you know. But I mean, you learn the hard way, man. You know, it's nothing worse than seeing, you know, when your bank account don't match your popularity or your fame. Then that's when you got to try to start reverse engineering your career and try to pick up the pieces. Okay, where's the money? You know, you got millions of fans, but where's the millions of dollars at some point? Then you go back, and then that's when it becomes important. Because at first, you know, you're just having fun. You're all around the world. You got cars. Then, you know, at some point, like, okay, well, where's my money? You know, then it becomes about the money, because that's not what you set out to do. You just want the music heard. You want to be on stage. You want, you know, this and that. Then when the lights go off, the curtains close, then it's time to pay the bills. Then where's the money? You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it comes to that, you know. So, and I'm sure every artist has the same story. Every athlete probably the same story. You know, some artists are lucky to have their parents that got them, or have, you know, people in their corners, but a lot of artists are not. You know, you just have to learn the hard way. But
yeah, I've been interviewed almost 60 artists. Even Jimmy Love, I've interviewed him, and so he's from the business side. And it is the sad thing. It's almost as if the less you know, the more less people are going to tell you. Right. And unfortunately, and I guess how much of that affected the music and the group when the money situation came up.
Well, I don't think it affected us as individuals, as a group, because it wasn't us taking from each other.
Yeah,
it was around taking from you. It's not, so it wasn't like we're stealing from each other. You know, everybody else is taking out your pocket. So, you know, but at some point it begins to divide and conquer, because, you know, some people focus might be on, I still make records. Some people focus might be, I'm not making a record until I get my business straight. You know, so you start having different opinions about what are you doing. And, you know, you got people that's pulling it one way, and, well, you know, don't pay attention to this, and don't pay attention, just keep making records, and as long as I can put you on stage. And, you know, like I said, so at some point when you're in the group, it begins to wear and tear on, you know, the different aspects of the individuals in the group. That's what any group. In any group that you ever see, it's always because everybody comes and starts to divide and conquer. So, you know, at some point you get smart, you be like, you know what, let's just shut everybody out and let's just go back to the basics. Let's go back to what we know. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of groups don't figure it out. A lot of groups do. And so.
But how was it for you personally, for you? Because as I said, Casey and JoJo, you know, as singers, and you had your brother who, as a producer, you know, he started the Basement. He had, you know, he got Timbaland, Missy, Static. You know, he goes. What was happening with you?
Oh, well, you know, I was part of the Basement with my brother. So, okay. You know, yeah. So, you know, in the beginning, like I brought Missy to my brother. You know, Missy brought Timbaland. You know, I brought Stevie J in. So we were all part of that whole unit. You know, what was going on. So at those times when we was working on the Basement, you know, I did Sister's first remix, brand new, the video they put out, you know, what Missy Elliott was in.
Yeah.
So you need to do your homework, man. I'm disappointed. No. You need to do your homework. You might need to do your homework, but you know, at the same time, you know, at those times, you know, I was producing for Death Row. I did a lot of stuff on Above the Rim soundtrack. I did 2 songs on Dangerous Mind with Michelle Pfeiffer, the movie. I did Aaron Hall, Curiosity, and Men Static. Did a song that I wrote and produced for Static. Let me see. I worked on Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige. I worked at Wu-Tang Clan. I did songs with Raekwon, Ghostface. I mean, I was working. That's what I'm saying. You need to dig up some stuff, man. It wasn't like in the street with a sign, help wanted sign, feed me for dollars. No, I was working. So it's like, you know, at the time I was still like, then I started working on my own ideas. I started putting out my own ideas. So this is when I started creating the Mr. Dalvin sound that I wanted for myself as a solo artist. Perfect time. You know, Casey and JoJo doing anything, you know, and I'm producing and I'm writing, I'm appearing on people's songs. I'm like, you know, let me just start working on my stuff. The ideas I had, the songs I got. And so.
So, but by this time, the question then becomes, because during the Jodeci success, you'd realize, wow, you know, the money's the business side. When you are now doing stuff as a producer and a writer, were you're a little bit more tuned to, okay, I need to keep my publishing, I need to know that side, and so at least, or was that were you able to balance it out better now?
Well, I mean, yeah, like when you take time and because the music is always going to be there. I mean, you're going to always have creativity. Then now you got to be a perfect balance. You have to get your business straight. You know, it's not just about keep writing, producing, and don't have the, you know, the business side straight, because you just be working and chasing dollars when the dollars are supposed to be chasing you. You know what I'm saying? You got publishing over here. You have to balance it and know where it is. Okay, I'm here, I'm working just as much, but I'm getting paid. I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. You know, so you don't want to just keep working and not having nothing. So you have to stop at some point and get your business straight. Then you continue to work. You know.
Yeah. And which, because especially in I can get to the late 90s into the 2000s, the producers become more of the they shape the music.
Right.
Back when you guys started, it was the group had the artists had the sound, and the producers had to try and add to the sound. Then we started to get Timbaland, the Neptunes. We started to see artists chasing the beats. When you started to see the shift, and it started to shift towards hip hop a lot more, how did you sort of shift the direction that you were going to take as a producer?
Well, I mean, me, I've always been a hip hop head. I bought the hip hop to Jodeci. I was like the hip hop flavor to Jodeci. You know, I was Eric B, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. You know, like I said, Wu-Tang Clan. I was always infused with hip hop. So, you know, like that would be the rapper in the group, we on stage, and most of my attitude on stage is more like the rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always in hip hop. I brought the hip hop element to Jodeci. You know, the break beats. You know, everything that we did, like remixes, the freaking remix with, you know, with Ghostface and Raekwon. So it's like I always would bring this, and you know, so I would keep us. You know, hip hop guys, rappers love Jodeci. So it wasn't like we was just a soft group, like, you know, we was just real soft. You know, we made it cool for rappers and, you know, for thugs and drug dealers, everybody played Jodeci, because it wasn't cool for guys to ride around and pump slow jams in their car until Jodeci came out. You know, because we looked like, you know, we just like they homeboys. We wasn't like all sequence suits up and, you know, 3-piece suits. We had the hats on back with the jeans sagging, the latest sneakers on. You know, we had the Jordans. So people started looking at us like, oh God, I'm gonna dress like Jodeci, because we got the latest fashion on. You know, they didn't go to rap and they looking at Jodeci. See, we had on the leather pants, you know, rappers wasn't really, we the first group that had tattoos, 2 earrings. I mean, we broke a lot of trends in music. If you go back and look, like, you know, so we did a lot of different things. My brother's the first person to have a tattoo on his face. You know, Mike Tyson got a tattoo after my brother got it.
Wow.
So, you know, so he saw DeVante's tattoo and got a tattoo. Now everybody got their whole face covered with tattoos. But all of the tattoos on the arms and everything. Wasn't no R&B groups doing that. You know, a lot of rappers were doing that. You know, NBA players definitely wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's like we started a lot of trends, and you know, and we always stayed ahead of trends. So it wasn't like we felt like, oh man, now was hip hop taking over, because we was hip hop and we was R&B. We was everything. And so it wasn't just like we stuck, you know, just singing, you know, doing the 2 slow songs. You know, it was just, we was in front of everything. So
in the 90s, there were 2 camps. There was the artists who wanted to be like Jodeci. So you had, you know, Drew Hill, even Blackstreet to some extent.
right.
And then you had those who wanted to be like Boyz II Men, As Yet, and the rest.
Right.
Did you see what was your impression about who the competition was when you guys were coming out?
Well, you know, like they always pit us against Boyz II Men because we started at the same time. We were both powerhouses, not like you said, we're 2 totally different groups, and so everybody fell up under the category either, like you said, Boyz II Men or Jodeci. We didn't, you know, our first tour was Jodeci and Boyz II Men and MC Hammer. So every night we would kind of go back and forth, kind of like Prince and Purple Rain and The Time. It was kind of like they were 2 different. It's like, you know, they kind of like challenging each other. So we came out with the raunchy, the stage show, and you know, the routines and everything. But as the tour went on, you saw boys making a little more raunchy, a little more Jodeci-esque, you know. So, you know, they started bumping and grinding. You know, they lift the shirts up. You know, we came out with, you know, the Heineken's in the hand, the shirts off, and dog chains. That was just us, you know. So, you know, you're more like Guns N' Roses, the Black Guns N' Roses. So,
yeah. No, you know, I remember interviewing Rift Nitty, and he says, you know, they came out very similar to like Boyz II Men, but they wanted to be like, everyone wanted to be like Jodeci because you guys had, you know, the music was, I won't say the hood, but it was like, that's R&B, and Boyz II Men, you could hear them on, you know, Kiss and pop stuff,
right?
And that was like the streets and stuff. But you guys, did you look to anyone and think, well, these are the people we want to try and aspire to knock off their perch?
No. I mean, no, it was just like we found our own lane, man, and we stayed in it. You know, and anybody that got in our way, they rolled with us or got rolled over. It was just like, that was basically what it was. We didn't look and set out to destroy anybody. We just did what we know how to do. You know, I don't think that was a thing like, oh, we're gonna be better than this, or we're gonna be better than God, be better than this. It was like, we just did what we know how to do, you know? And people would always put us, you know, Jodeci, can y'all, Jodeci's better than this, better than that. It was just like always, you know, we got called out on verses the other day. Somebody called us out, like we mind our own business. I was laughing at KC, and I saw a certain group, they called us out, called out everybody. And we was kind of laughing at it. And I was like, you know, that's cute, man. You know, that's cute. So, you know, you know, people always want to come after the Kings. They want your throne. So, hey, it is what it is.
Did you? How was the first time you met Bobby Brown? Because I, you know, trying to be like him back in the day. When was the first time you met him?
It wasn't that good, man. You know, we actually became good friends. We became really good friends, and we hung out a lot. We became really good friends. But the first meeting was a little bizarre, man. I gotta say, really bizarre. It's like sometimes when you meet your star, you have this whole thing about, wow, and then, you know, when you meet him, it's like, oh, wait a minute. You know, he's an amazing person, though, amazing talent. You know, just sometimes when you meet people, sometimes I think you dream a little bit bigger than what it actually is sometimes. But
yeah,
you know.
But then also, I think we've watched the Bobby Brown movie, so we know that there was things happening at those early days compared to how he is now.
Right. But I mean, I love Bobby Brown to this day, man. Like, I still think he's one of the dopest solo artists ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lane for solo artists that no other solo artist has touched. You know, I mean, right up under Michael Jackson. But I think that he's one of the best R&B solo artists that I've ever witnessed. His whole style, his whole aura, and the way he approached music and songs and everything. So I don't think he's matched to this day.
No, you know? No. I mean, we looked at him. We saw Michael Jackson. We saw Hammer. And we saw Bobby as entertainers, dancers, performers. You know, he couldn't be touched. What about New Edition? What was your take on New Edition?
I like New Edition. I mean, I like New Edition, but New Edition was more like, you know, the a little softer for me. I like Bobby because he was edgy. He was just, he didn't care. He was just like, and that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? I love New Edition songs. Can You Stand the Rain? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, even to down to Cool It Now, I'm his Telephone Man, but it's always, Bobby always just stood out to me in that group for me. And I love BBD. I love what they did when they broke off. And, you know, I like Johnny Gill, you know, so it's, you know, I like New Edition.
Yeah. So when, how did you know when, you know, you one of the things I liked about what you're doing with your solo singles from your Good Time and Inseparable is very, we don't normally get that sense of I've got a story and I'm going to keep continuing that sort of theme.
Right.
How did that concept come out? Because it's been lost. You know, now people just put out one single and not connected with the next. How did you think about I'm going to start telling a sort of a story with my singles?
Well, you know, I just when I wrote a song, I had one particular person in mind, I think, and I wanted to kind of take you on a ride with this person. So I started writing about his imaginary female, imaginary time from the time that I met her, the good times, the bad times, and you know, the sexy times and everything, even continuing on. So I got even the next thing I got coming out is really good, and it's gonna continue on for the same theme. So, and I'm gonna keep rolling with that, and you know, eventually I'll probably put out an album, and the album's gonna connect everything together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm trying not to give too much away, but yeah.
Okay, but I think the way music has changed from when you guys came out, where you know you're selling CDs and singles. We consume music much differently now. Either we're streaming it on Spotify or watching on YouTube, and we've learned that unless you're having a billion streams, there isn't as much money coming in. What is the purpose then for yourself? You know, putting out music. Is it for the money, or is it just?
I mean, I'm enjoying creating. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, one of these songs, hopefully it catch fire and, you know, it go where it goes. But I'm enjoying being able to express myself individually, musically. I have the freedom to do it. I have the means to do it. So, and, you know, there's no reason why I shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm putting music because I enjoy doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I enjoy touring with Jodeci. I'm not looking for my music to you know, change my life and put millions of dollars in my pocket. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm at a stage in my life now, I have to enjoy things I do. So I don't want to be stressed about, you know, being under the knife and going and trying to make a top of my lady. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I don't top nothing I do. I just put out music. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. You know, it's like me just sitting home making songs for myself. Why not let the world hear it? If somebody want to hear it, they can hear it. Why not share with the world? I have millions of songs I can put out. You know, I make songs almost every other day. So why not put it out and let the world hear it? Instead of just riding around listening to it in my car. You know, it doesn't cost anything to put music up. People like it, they buy it, they don't, they don't. You know? So.
And you know, and I think what's beautiful about that is the fact that when it comes from a place of, well, I don't necessarily, it's not for the money, but it's just I've got the songs. It hits in a very different way because we listen and we can appreciate it. Because that's what I was saying, that back in the day, you put out an album, it's, you know, there's a lot of promotion money into it, and so you needed to recoup it. Yeah, I think financially, it's accessible. It's easier to get music out now, but it's not as easy to make the money out of it. But if that's not the motivation, I think we can see.
Yes, I mean, especially as independent artists, you know, rap and hip hop is a little different because if, you know, a song hit the strip club or catch a TikTok dance or something goes viral, it's you know, it's almost like that. It's almost easy. But R&B music is a little different. You have to spend lots of dollars and lots of dollars to try to promote and market it, blah, blah, blah. I announce on Instagram like a new song, come and hear this, blah, 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 blah. My followers, they like it, they don't, they pick it up, they don't. As long as I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing, and I think that's what it's come down to. I enjoy doing Jodeci just as much as I enjoy doing my own stuff. Yeah. So, you know, so.
And I have to commend you about the quality of your music videos because you're not just getting somebody with a little camera and just let's record. I mean, you're putting a lot of energy and effort and really,
really?
look. You know, I think Hype Williams type level kind of. I mean, which is not. I mean, especially if it's not. There's no big labels backing it. I mean, you know, it seems as if it's more so the same guy who loved basketball and motorbikes just loves
Right.
the music and the creating of stuff.
That's exactly how it is, and I'm involved with everything. I have a 3-person team. It's me and my sister and one other person. We sit down. And I'm like, this is my vision for the video. And when I'm working on the song in the studio, I'm writing the video at the same time. I'm writing the concept, and we sit down. I'm like, how do you like this? You like this? All right, then we're gonna do it like this, and we'll get it. We'll shoot it, and I stay for 18 hours, 19 hours. The video, and I don't leave until it's done. Until I have the story that I have in my head completed. And it's like I'm saying, I'm enjoying it. And these are the freedoms I didn't have when I was signed to a label, when I was, had to, be with 3 other guys in the group, because it had to be a group thing. And that was just all my music, all my vocals, all my tracks. It's everything that I like to do. So I don't have to worry about if the guys like this or change this beat or nothing. If I don't like it, then it doesn't get done. If I like it, it's what I'm putting out. Yeah. So it's like, enjoy it. And I want people to enjoy it, but if they don't, it's not like I lose sleep over it, because I just keep creating music, because it's like, and a lot of people don't really realize, my contribution to Jodeci. They don't realize that I did make music, or I did sing, or I did write. It's just that I was just a face and I got lucky for the ride. But, these are, like I'm saying, okay, this is my slice of the pie. This is what I do. This is what I brought to my group. If you can hear my influence to what I brought to the group, here it is. This is me, on me, by myself. If I can't sing a note on my album, it won't get sung. If I can't do it, it won't get done. You can like my voice, you don't have to like it. It doesn't. If I can't do my own harmony notes, it won't get done. I don't bring nobody in to sing nothing for me. I do all my own stuff. Do all my own background. Do everything on my own. So.
People were commenting on that you cut your hair in Inseparable. They were like, what? He cut all his hair off?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Like I said, man, at this point, I'm having fun being me, man. I don't want people to dictate who I have to be, what I have to look like, what I have to do. It's just, I'm at this point in my life, I'm enjoying myself. And I think once you try to impress the world, that's when you start losing focus of who you are. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to have to just impress everybody. Every day I wake up, I got to curl my hair, put this, do that, do that. I want to be me, and I want to enjoy being myself. I'm looking at other artists and other actors and stuff. I look at Will Smith. He said, I'm at this age in my life, I'm just me. I can't impress. If you're not impressed by what I've done, you're not going to be impressed by what I do. Yeah. So therefore, I'm not trying to live to impress anybody else. I'm just trying to just live, be happy, and be at peace, and enjoy what I do. And not wake up every day stressed out because I got to impress the world. I don't have to do that. If you don't like me, just don't. This is what it is.
No, I mean, there's loads of people who admire what you do and stuff. We can't end by not wishing your brother a happy 50th birthday, right. 52nd, sorry. It was an amazing surprise watching you guys, yourself, your brother, and JoJo in California a couple of weeks ago. It's the feedback. The internet was crazy with like, Jodeci is back. How did that? Because I saw you and JoJo first saying, "Yeah, we're gonna do the concert, and don't worry, DeVante will be there." Right. What was that feeling like being on stage as Jodeci after such a long time, and seeing the reaction?
I think that people tend to think that we are enemies, and we're not. It's just sometimes things just don't work out the way that people think they should, and they don't know the internal things that the artists deal with. Why things don't go the way people think they should. People always want to think that you should be a certain way when they don't know the ramifications. Like people keep asking, why don't I do this? Do a movie. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. And I think that people don't really realize there's a lot of things they're going to do in a movie, going to do a lot of things that people want to do. We can't just wake up in one day and say, okay, we're shooting a movie today. It doesn't work like that. We're waking up and say, Jodeci, do another album. We can't just wake up and say we're going to the studio and do an album. It doesn't work like that. That's not how things work. There's a lot of formalities you have to go through. Yeah, we're a group that can make things happen, but there's formalities that we have to go through because we're also a major brand. So it's not like, Michael Jordan can't walk into Nike and make his own sneaker, even though he's the biggest selling shoe person at Nike. He can't just make it tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. I'm pretty sure they'll make a lot of accommodations, but it doesn't work like that. Yeah. As far as Jodeci, it just sometimes you have to prepare things. For myself, it's different. I can go home tonight after this interview and put a record out 24 hours from now. So it doesn't work like that with Jodeci. You know, I can go home and shoot me a home video and put it out tonight on YouTube. But Jodeci is a brand that has to be, you know, it's respectfully have to be nurtured and, you know, and go through the necessary steps to make it, you know, to put things out, put movies out, put songs out, put records out. So
yeah, but you guys headlined a tour. You know, you had some very established artists who have been touring for a while, and you guys came on last and stole the show.
And you know, let me interrupt you. That wasn't even our show. They tried to bamboozle us because they thought everybody's gonna leave. It was some technicalities, and we wasn't supposed to go on the last because it wasn't our show.
Oh.
And you know, it wasn't our show. And you know, I said, you know what though? And then they tried to wait till almost 12 midnight. Everybody was tired and wore out because nobody wanted to come behind Jodeci, and rightfully so. And you know, whoever watching this, you did the right thing because you don't want to come behind Jodeci. And that just you don't want to. And so the powers that were, they didn't want to come behind Jodeci because we wasn't supposed to close the show. It wasn't ours. So, but we did what we did because we knew fans were there and wanted to see us, you know, so we wasn't going to just leave, you know, because contractually we could have left because that wasn't our show to close. But, you know, like we came and did what we had to do.
Yeah, because you know, I've seen you and JoJo do stuff, so it wasn't. So we know that your brother is your brother and stuff. But seeing as I said, seeing the because I wasn't there, but I had a friend, Elise, who was at the show, and she was streaming it on IG, so I could watch you guys. I'm like, wow,
right.
You guys are actually performing, and there's DeVante there as well.
Right.
But you haven't been on stage as Jodeci in a long time. What was that like for you, just seeing the reaction from people seeing you guys sing the songs and stuff?
It's great, man. I mean, like I love our fans. There's nothing like Jodeci fans. I mean, they're diehard, and just to see people from all ages and walks of life singing your records, man, after all these years, every word, and you know, even when we cut the song short and we go to another song, they jump right in with us, and it's crazy, it's unreal. But you know, we just feed off of the energy that they give us, and we give it right back to them. And you know, we go harder and harder. The harder they go with us, we go with them. So it don't matter if we go on stage at 12 o'clock midnight, and you know, it doesn't matter. So, but just to get that energy from the crowd, and you know, they've been there all day since 6 or 7 o'clock, and we still there. I mean, it's amazing, man. You know, as we tour, as we tour the world and continue to get ready to tour again, all of us, it's going to be just great to see our fans again, and we do it for our fans. You know what I'm saying? And for the love of what we do. So.
Okay.
You know.
Wait, did I just hear you say that the four of you are going to tour?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of Jodeci, man. You know, but I tell people all the time, they just want to rush everything, but everything's got to be done right and done, you know, good. Because when Jodeci go out, we go out right, you know. So and it's an event, so we make it an event. So
okay,
you'll be hearing about it really soon. So
okay, and so because I'm in the UK, and so I know the US are spoiled. Would we see you come out to the UK and the rest of the world, or are you going to first start off in the US mainly?
Well, you know, I can't really answer that question, but I'm sure I love coming to the UK. I love the UK, man. I love it. I love it. So hopefully we will be there. I don't know if it'll start there, but I'm sure we will end up there. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, because a lot of people have said, oh, because the show was amazing, but we didn't see the powerhouse of KC there. But
right.
But he's still going to be, you know, you can confirm that if Jodeci come out, it will be the four of you guys.
As it stands now, yes, absolutely.
Okay. You know, I always end my interviews by asking my guests that if you were stuck in an elevator and you had a chance to, it was going to take a couple of hours, but they said, look, while we're getting you out, we'll put a movie for you. What movie would you want to watch before they get you out?
Probably Scarface. I've seen it a million. I thought you asked what person I want to be stuck in. You should answer that.
That movie here. Okay, Scarface. Okay. They're about to put on Scarface. They say, look, we're getting the movie out, but let's put a song for you to listen to. What song do you request?
You know, that's a good, probably Donny Hathaway. I Love You More Than You Ever Know. That's probably one of my favorite songs.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he hits a different note when he came out.
Crazy.
Yeah. What's your best Bobby? You know, when you think of all his stuff, what's your all-time favorite?
Tenderoni, my prerogative. I mean, but I mean, I know Bobby's album, the Don't Be Cool album, top to bottom. I mean, that was my. I thought that could have been me. That was me. I was Bobby. So.
But what did you make of the Bobby album? Because I'd actually preferred that a little bit. But what was your thought on the Bobby album? We had Getaway and So You Can Play This Game.
I think Bobby should have went back to Babyface and the same team. I just think that sometimes when you capture magic, you need to stay with the magic, you know, and let it be about the magic and not about you. Let it be about the magician, you know. And sometimes when you find great songwriters and producers that work good with you, a lot of mistakes artists make is feel like they are the magic, but it's the magic that people create for you, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that happens to a lot of artists that we see, great artists that they want to step away from the magic and feel like it's about them, but it's about the magic somebody create for you. You just the magician, you know.
Yeah, you know, people have asked me, how proud are you with the success of Missy and Timbaland, and even and the rest of the Basement Crew that you guys discovered? Are you surprised how successful they've become, or could you see it when you guys found them and saw them back in those early days?
I thought they were all really talented. I thought they were all really talented. That's why we brought them in. But you should ask that question. How proud are they coming from our camp? Because I think they seem to forget sometimes, but it's okay. You should ask them.
Yeah, definitely. You know, October is World Mental Health Awareness Month, and one of the things that, especially within our Black communities, what we don't talk about mental health, or we don't talk about anxiety and depression and stuff. As an artist in the industry, and I remember actually back in the beginning about how overwhelming was it to be, all of a sudden, what biggest on every newspaper, right on Black Beats, Ebony and stuff. How did anxiety, depression, was there ever something that you struggled with back in those early days?
I think a lot of artists, because you find yourself trying to live for other people. And I said, like now at the place, and most artists I see nowadays, they're just understanding, just taking a minute and understanding that your life is about you. It's not about your expectations from other people. And I think once you realize that, then you'll find a peace. But as long as you're trying to go out there, please the world, please the world, please the world, because you're going to always be let down. It's if you just, like I said, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. As long as artists understand, enjoy your life. If people accept you, they do. If they don't try to force people to accept you, or you're going to always find yourself in there. I was watching Lizzo and I felt sorry for her because she was heartbroken because I guess everybody was fat shaming or whatever. And, she had a nervous breakdown on IG. And I'm like, you can't worry about what people say. You just can't. I mean, you'll find yourself in those situations, and it's easier said than done sometimes. But I think once you find that peace, then I think a lot of people come to terms with anxiety and the depression,
But how have you, because you do sound, the way you talk is, it sounds like you back it up. But what did you find and do differently? Because a lot of people aren't like, you're very calm, you're very assured, and you've found us inner peace and stuff. How did you navigate? How have you been able to navigate?
Man, you just gotta let God take the wheel. You gotta just trust God, man. You gotta put all your faith and trust in God, and that, He's the only person that's not gonna ever forsake you. So as long as you know that, man, that's where your trust gotta go. That's where you find your peace, man. And me praying a lot, and because I'm out of church, and sometimes you kind of stray away from that, but then that's when you start, getting confused because you're trying to find the world to accept you. When sometimes you get on your knees and pray, man, and that's what I do. And I find when I find my mind going there, like, oh man, I'm putting out records and they might not hit them. I don't care. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. As long as I know that I could get on my knees and I'm okay, and not my mind is still good, and I can still create music and write. I can't be bothered with all the negativity. When people say negative comments to me on IG, I don't even respond. I just delete them and block them. Like I said, because you get 1,000 people saying they love you, and that one person just say something off the wall, you become fixated with that one negative thing. So that's why I don't let negativity even cross my path, man. I exit out anywhere I can, because you become fixated. You got millions of people that love you and buy your music and support you and scream at your concerts, and one person can say one thing and it come across you, and it's like, that's what you become fixated on. And I was like, I can't do that, so I'm just like, I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you know what, and I have to appreciate you saying that because it hits us all. Yeah, you know, I I can't imagine, I can't tell how many times I've had loads of people say, "Oh, we like this, like that." One person says, "Oh,
And you become fixated with that one part, you know. So I just like, you know, it is what it is, man. Because some people wake up, man, and like they say, it's not just a cliche. Misery loves company, and that's just not a saying. That's the truth. So some people just like, oh, he's happy. I gotta make him mad because I'm having a bad day. You know, when people call me in the morning, and they ain't got nothing good to say, I don't even speak to them because you find your day ruined by it. You don't even know why. You wake up happy. Somebody call you and they just, man, I this and that. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm sorry, bro. Ain't nothing I can do. Click, I'm good. Because you're ruined by it. You don't even know why. You just like, why am I in this mood all of a sudden? And it's because somebody done called you some negative, and he's like, okay, you know, it just threw me off all day. So trying to deal with it.
wow."
So
Yeah, I appreciate how you've ended it, how you've ended the interview, how you've given us a sort of something to think about because we do all struggle with that. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to